Coming up on this weekend's broadcast, as representatives of the beef cattle industry gathered for their annual convention, there were many questions to ponder, including what will those animals be worth? Hello, everyone. Welcome to the broadcast this weekend. You notice immediately Mr. Pearson is not at the desk. However, I pledge that you will see him soon. And Greg Solier will be here too in just a few minutes to share with us that very important forecast for these winter days ahead, including the lead up to the Louisville Farm Show. But yes, they gathered for the Cattle Industry Convention, its trade show, all of its meetings, Cattlemen'S College, and Mike Pearson has been there to sample the opinion and to talk to the folks involved.
That's right, Max. Thousands of cattle producers from around the country and, in fact, from around the world have gathered here in New Orleans this week. Well, for the week, Max, it's Moo Orleans here in the Crescent City. But you're exactly right. Talking through the issues that are impacting the cattle industry. And, Max, I'll be honest, there is a buoyant attitude to a lot of the attendees here. It's exciting to be amongst the cattle producers after this past year as they look ahead to the future. We had a chance to talk to CEO of NCBA, Colin Woodall, about this year's convention.
We're excited about CattleCon 23. We continue to see an increase in attendees compared to where we were in Houston, and everybody is here to have some fun, to be able to see some great speakers, hear some great entertainment, and also see a 7-acre trade show. With just about everything you could want to be a cattle producer.
There is everything under the sun down there in that trade show. Colin, from the perspective of the cattle industry at NCBA, as you look out for 2023, what are some issues that producers need to have on their minds?
First and foremost, it's about the Farm Bill. The current Farm Bill expires on September 30th, so we are working to make sure that gets reinstated just as quickly as possible and with all of our priorities, including things such as funding for the foot and mouth disease vaccine bank, and also to make sure that programs like EQIP and federal research dollars are intact, and also looking at more risk management programs for producers, especially small cow-calf producers.
And were those topics under discussion at the convention in New Orleans?
So they are. We're talking about and making sure that everybody understands what our requests are, so that way they can go home and start contacting their members of Congress to really put the squeeze on them to say we can't allow this current Farm Bill to be extended. We need it to be redone, and we need it to get passed before the deadline is put in place.
And getting that information in the hand of members is so crucial because NCBA is a grassroots organization. And to that end, Colin, how's membership looking here over these past couple volatile years in the cattle industry?
What's interesting about it is that we have been able to grow our membership. Matter of fact, we are right at 26,000 members. That's a lot of producers across the country that represent well over 80% of all the cattle that are out there. And they are a big part of our success because it's their voice on Capitol Hill that really makes sure that we can protect ourselves and protect our future.
So, Colin, that's the producer side, but of course the cattle industry is also concerned about the consumer side, and to that end we have the beef checkoff to tell folks what's happening in the industry. And as you look ahead, is the checkoff still a worthy goal for cattle producers to maintain?
It is a great program. And it's important to remember that NCBA is not the checkoff, but we are a contractor. We're one of 9 groups that contracts to do the work on the checkoff. The Beef It's What's for Dinner slogan has a 70% recognition rate among Americans. That's huge for a slogan, and one that we're very proud of, and we continue to push on that. But it's also making sure that we really engage in the new way that beef is being sold and purchased, and that is through e-commerce. And so the checkoff is leading the way to make sure that we are at the forefront of that, so that when people go to their local grocery store and click online, they're putting steaks in their cart, and the checkoff is seeing a lot of success with that.
Anything exciting on the checkoff front as you look ahead to this year?
It's all about continuing to build out our e-commerce and making sure that we were working with people like DoorDash, for example, and also Uber Eats to further capitalize on making it that much easier to get beef at your front door.
That intersection between cattle and technology is very exciting to see, Colin. A lot to look forward here in the beef industry as we move into 23, isn't there?
It's going to be a great year for us. I'm very optimistic. We're seeing a change in weather patterns to hopefully make it better in a lot of places in this country, get some more cattle back on the grass, and also it looks like cattle markets are going to be better. So there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic for this year.
And Max, of all the things Colin discussed, that weather portion is probably the biggest determinant on what's going to happen here with the cattle herd in the year ahead. Max?
All right, Mike, we appreciate it. We know there's much more to talk about, especially with interest rates and the cost of feed, all of these things impacting production. Where will the markets be going? We'll get back to Mike for a discussion on that as we continue on this weekend's broadcast.